President and CEO of Aboitiz Equity Ventures, Aboitiz Power, and Aboitiz and Company. He's also the chairman of Aboitiz Renewables, Therma Power, SN Aboitiz Power, Davao Light and Power, Cotabato Light and Power, City Savings Bank, San Fernando Electric Light and Power, and the Aboitiz Foundation. He graduated with a degree in Business Administration, major in Accounting and Finance from Gonzaga University in the US. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all please welcome Mr. Erramon Aboitiz.
Thank you. Honorable Secretaries and members of the Cabinet, members of the Philippine Economic Team, colleagues in business, media, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We have all witnessed tremendous growth in the Philippine economy as evidenced by various indicators. The economy posted a stellar 6.6% GDP growth in 2012, and we are conservatively forecasting a 6% growth in 2013 and onward. Inflation has been kept at a minimum of a little over 3%, far below historical averages. And I don't think there is any doubt that the country will be upgraded to investment grade status. In fact, the markets are saying that we will be upgraded even a couple of notches above the minimum investment grade level. What blows my mind is that from being buried in debt, the country has actually reached creditor status, even providing $1 billion in the IMF bilateral borrowing facility, and today is a net foreign creditor. We've seen the peso strengthen, giving consumers more confidence to spend, benefiting consumer-driven industries. So the business climate is ideal. The Philippines' strong fundamentals has made foreign investors take a very serious look at the country for possible investments. And local businessmen are even more bullish to take advantage of this growth trajectory. The stock market has strengthened and debt markets have become more accessible, factors that make it attractive for companies to raise capital and further invest in our country. And it is this ability to raise capital that will bring down the cost of capital, bring down required returns from investors, and without a doubt will redound to lower prices for the Filipino consumer. For the next 4 years alone, Aboitiz Power and its partners are expecting to invest about 85 billion pesos for building new power plants across the Philippines. So while the main concern, one of the main concerns is the lack of energy, our main concern in power is actually excess power. Those of us who are in the power business, because we are seeing an influx of new investors, players that have not been in the power industry in the past. And this will in effect bring up competition and hopefully bring down lower prices. So I believe that except for Mindanao, which has its unique problems, we are in good shape as far as the Visayas and Luzon are concerned. We are also excited and supportive of the government's PPP program. Investment in the country's infrastructure is critical for long-term sustainable growth, and the PPP program goes a long way in directing capital to invest in this area. We as Aboitiz will participate in the bid for the modernization and expansion of the Mactan Airport in Cebu, and we are closely evaluating other PPP opportunities in the government's pipeline. I think today the Philippines is in a very unique situation. a situation that we probably were never this way in the past. We, in the past, have always had difficulty in investing in long-term, long payback infrastructure projects, whereas today, because of our fiscal position, because of lower interest rates, we are in a position to invest in long-term investments, long-term infrastructure that will continue to drive our economy. Along with good economics and infrastructure reform comes an increased demand in energy. Mindanao is a great example of a new business frontier. The region is rich in agriculture and natural resources, which need to be unlocked to fulfill its full potential. But one of the roadblocks for growth is the lack of reliable power, as well as perhaps some other infrastructure. For 2012, Mindanao was hounded by rotating power outages due to its heavy dependence in hydro resources, mainly from the Agos and Pulangi hydro stations, and the fact that no new power plant was built for over a decade. As a company, Aboitiz Power is heavily invested in Mindanao. We are the largest power distributor in Mindanao, and after NPC, will be the largest power generator once the power plants under construction are completed. Aboitiz Power alone will invest a total of 35 billion pesos in the next 3 years, hopefully putting an end to the acute power shortage of Mindanao. We have been in Mindanao for generations, and we will continue to live up to our reputation of corporate responsibility by providing responsible, reliable, and affordable power to support Mindanao's growth. Mindanao can learn from the evolution of the power industry in other regions. Privatization of the power industry, particularly in Luzon, we believe has worked well for the consumer and industry by creating a competitive environment free of government intervention and subsidy. There are a lot of questions as to why it's taken so long for people to invest in power plants in Mindanao. And I hate to say this, but it is really because we are afraid of competing against government or the National Power Corporation that has been the dominant player in Mindanao. So creating a competitive environment is absolutely necessary in bringing and harnessing private capital. We've also been successful in the Luzon by attracting investments into power, leading to a competitive landscape and ample power supply, and ultimately bringing down the true cost of power. And today, we see that the actual cost of power, taking away the cost of fuel, has actually come down in the last 12 months. We want to be part of the solution in Mindanao. We are in the market today with our power barges, which provide capacity in the short term to electric cooperatives and distribution utilities that sorely need extra power. But more importantly, we are investing in a 300 megawatt base load plant in Davao to provide a longer-term solution to the power shortages in Mindanao. Reliable supply of power will encourage businesses to open up shop and invest in Mindanao, bringing prosperity and jobs to the region and helping the region become a driver of economic growth for the country as a whole. We look forward to further investments aimed at upgrading Mindanao's infrastructure through more government and private sector collaboration. In conclusion, we believe that future investments will hinge on the government's plan to create a competitive, market-based environment, and in parallel, building strong institutions to ensure transparency and sustainability in the growth that we are currently experiencing. Thank you very much.